episode of the Delco Duo. I'm one half of the Delco Duo, Monica Cryan.
And I'm Jenna Meisner. So happy to have you with us for another Saturday night.
But not just any
It's special.
Saturday. Jenna informed me. I was like, oh, here we go. Here's another show. And then you said this is a special one.
It's our 2-year anniversary from the launch of Dishin' with the Delco Duo. So that's like the OG start of this program, because we'll be reaching a year of a television show in July, so a couple months away. But this started as a podcast, which maybe a lot of you at home watching don't even realize that. It started as a podcast, and that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, Jenna and I just said, let's just start a podcast where we help people with their issues. And then it really was, how long was it?
30 minutes.
It was just 30 minutes. Okay, it
felt longer though, because now we have like time cues and commercials and
we have commercials like now, and that's taken
a lot of our time. Yeah. So it was 30 minutes straight.
That's what happens when you go primetime, baby. They put in commercials, they try and make money off of it. But in the beginning, we weren't making any money off of this. This was literally just a podcast that was put on YouTube and Spotify, and that was it. And then our bosses were like, yeah, I guess you guys can be on TV for this. So 2 years.
It felt fast though. It is weird to think that we've been, solving the Delaware County and beyond. Of course, we're all inclusive to all counties.
All counties, but just giving you a Delco take on it. But I think what's so interesting is, at first, I think my biggest, not fear, but I was concerned, will we have enough issues? And and then the pandemic hit.
I don't think that was ever a fear of mine.
You didn't?
There's so many problems. People have so many problems.
People have so many issues.
So many problems that I knew that we would be able to sustain this.
And we have.
And
thank you, everybody.
We're happy. Yeah, thanks for having problems, everyone. Thanks for having issues, because you're really giving us some good content to work with here.
And don't forget, you stay completely anonymous. So before we get to your issues, let's get to the debrief. How did we do this week?
Okay, so
you know more than I do about how this went.
We are still in March. We are still in our Delco Bars March Madness extravaganza. So of course, like basketball, we are doing one, but for the bars in the area, and we have reached our final four.
Wow.
So the reason Monica says I know more than her about this is because I did the voting on my Instagram page this week. So we kind of go back and forth about, who's posting the voting. So if we take a look at our updated bracket, you can see here's your final four matchup. We've got Old State Tavern versus JD McGillicuddy's.
Well, but Old State beat Tom and Jerry's.
Old State beat
I was
Tom and
surprised
Jerry's
by
to
this.
get here. Yeah, I was not surprised by this.
I mean, Old State is classic.
But that's a 68% to 32%. Like, they really took them out.
The reason I am so surprised by Old State is because I am literally down the street. My husband walks to Old State all the time. I don't. I'm like, we're driving. Well, you can stay sober enough to drive me home. But him and his friends will get in the car and drive to, or not get in the car, will walk to.
Isn't that the best when you can walk to a spot?
I love walking to
It makes it so convenient.
It's so nice.
So Tom and Jerry's, yes, in Folsom. That's also a beloved classic bar. So that was a tough matchup.
I think that was a really tough one. Okay, and then we've got O'Connell's Tavern losing out to J.D. McGillicuddy's. That's the J.D. McGillicuddy's in Havertown, because I know I think they had one in Manayunk.
And people messaged, upon posting this, which location? Location matters. And that's with this Barnaby's, the Barnaby's versus Marty McGee's, the Aston Barnaby's. I had a few people that wanted to know what Barnaby's, and, Aston was the one that we had gone with. And Barnaby's crushed Marty McGee's.
Wow. I do love Barnaby's.
After St. Patrick's Day, that's like blasphemous. Because Marty McGee's is such a big St. Patrick's Day crowd, and I was surprised.
I actually have gotten a few people messaging that are now a little bit late to the game saying, I can't believe you didn't put Fainting Goat in.
We had someone say Fainting Goat right off the top, but they just missed the cutoff of when we had decided, okay, these are going to be the people in it. So unfortunately, and then we have Saxers. Saxers is in the final four.
And that beat out Anthony's.
But this was close.
That was really
Paxton
close.
Hollow, yeah. This was close. So
okay,
Saxers.
So the final four is Barnaby's and Saxers, Old State Tavern and J.D. McGillicuddy's. I'll have that on my Instagram coming up this week, so you guys can vote on it.
Keep voting. It's fun.
And then we'll go to the championship.
Oh gosh, I'm excited. All right, let's get to our issue. First issue of the night. This one's coming from Luke from Lima. Me and Monica like to argue about this one. I say Lima.
I say Lima, but I'm sure I'm wrong.
All right, I'm a single dad to my teenage daughter. My sister has 3 boys and makes being a boy mom her entire personality. She constantly tells me how much easier boys are than girls and says she feels sorry for me.
Oh, that is terrible, Luke. No one should ever feel sorry for you for raising a boy or raising a girl, but I do feel as though...
And doing it by yourself, for that matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do feel as though a lot of parents of single-sex kids...
They take that on.
You know what I mean? Like if you have all boys, all girls, that's your personality. You think it's so funny that you only have one sex.
Well, Girl Dad really took off after Kobe Bryant, of course, so that was like a very touching, meaningful hashtag.
I love that.
Girl Dads now go hard for being girl dad. And I think, that was never really a thing until Kobe.
I actually do feel like Eugene loves our baby Eugene, like obviously named after him. He loves having a boy. He did want all girls. At one point. And I think that's a really cute development in life.
He is such a girl dad. Like I had a girl dad. I come from a family of all girls.
You did.
So my dad was such a girl dad, but...
Did he make that his whole personality?
No, not at all. He was like dying for one of us to come into one of the car business, and none of us wanted into it. So he's like, okay, maybe I don't want to be a girl dad anymore. But I have my sister. She has 2 boys, and she's a boy mom, and I don't think she makes it her whole personality, but it changes the way you raise your kids.
Right. So Luke from Lima, however you say it, I can't even remember the right way to say it, but at this point, I would kind of distance yourself. The fact that she's saying, I feel sorry for you, distance yourself, that's going to make your daughter feel as though...
Or just turn the tables. I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
You have all boys. Boys can be tough in a different way, I think, than girls. Obviously, I don't have children myself. I'm having a boy on the way in a couple of months, so we'll see how that goes. But I think having a certain sex is just...
There's no one harder or easier way. It's all difficult. Raising kids, no matter what sex, no matter what age, no matter how many, I also can't take that. You have 1, you have 2, you have 3, you have 4. It is difficult to raise any amount of children. Please give people who have 1 or 2 a break, just like raising 3 or 4. I get it, it's really tough. You've got a wild schedule, but those who take away from, if you have like 3 or 4 kids, a lot of times that's all I have 3, I have 4.
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't really know how to solve this one for Luke. I guess just make being a girl dad your entire personality.
And I like what you said. I feel bad for you. Yeah. Girls are the best. Go girls.
All right, coming up next, we have another issue from you. Still talking about children, this time children-free events.
Oh.
Those are tough.
Persona non grata.
We'll talk about that coming up. She wants to say that. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. So a lot of times we're taking sips out of our Delco Duo mugs.
Yes.
We don't have merch for this yet.
No, everyone asks if we have merch. This is made on a Cricut. This is this is an Amazon purple mug and a Cricut. We don't have merch. We're not that cool.
We're not that fancy.
This is off of online on Microsoft Word.
Yes. So. But as you can also see, I have a drink. We usually don't have drinks other than our water.
Right.
But I've got a drink here because the Randstad room was in on Friday.
And left some cocktails
behind. So this is a grape drink. I kind of.
Oh, is that a grape on the? That makes sense.
That's a grape.
It is a grape. Okay.
Yes. So I'm having a sip, and poor Jenna's enjoying her water.
What alcohol's in it? Is it vodka, tequila?
I think it's a whiskey.
Oh.
I think it's a whiskey.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
If I remember, because tomorrow is National Whiskey Day, so.
I can't keep up with these national holidays. There's way too many today.
There are so many, but Whiskey Day is a good one to celebrate. On a Sunday, you know what I mean? Watching golf, watching basketball. I don't know if any of that's on. But.
Basketball's definitely on.
Yes.
All right, let's get to our next issue.
Okay, that's Danielle from Drexel Hill. My brother is having a child-free wedding, meaning anyone under 18 years old is not allowed to attend. My 16-year-old son is not invited, and if he can't go, I'm not going.
Ooh. This is a lot of sibling drama, I'm just realizing. We just had Luke, who's fighting with his sister over being a girl dad versus a boy mom. Now we have Danielle fighting with her brother over whether her 16-year-old can come to the wedding. Always can rely on your siblings to give you some problems.
And that's okay, because siblings can have issues, and you may go through some rough periods with your siblings. That happens.
This, to me, though, could be a turning point in a sibling relationship where you might not talk for a little while.
Yeah. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think you should not talk over this. I don't think you should bring your son. I don't think you should bring your son to a wedding that it has been mandatory 18 and older. That's even nice to do 18 and older. My wedding was 21 and older.
And did you explicitly tell your guests that? I feel like when you put it on an invite or it's hard to set an age limit. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how you go about that. Did you write it on an invite?
No, I guess.
It's word of mouth.
Yeah, it's word of mouth. We only invited people. There were no issues. Now that I think about it, no one even had kids at that age. Mm-hmm. You know, we got married pretty young.
Well, it depends on timing in life as well, I think.
Right, and like all my cousins who are older than me didn't have old enough kids to even, they didn't want to bring the kids to the wedding, is what it really came down to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't you want a night out?
Yes.
Get the kids a babysitter. Now, 16 is on the edge of like this kid can clearly watch themselves, I'm sure, and they can go out to their friends or, you know, they can drive at this point. They can drive somewhere or do something. But I could never understand why people want to bring their children to a wedding.
The only thing I think about this is, okay, so your brother's just getting married, but you have a 16-year-old son. Isn't your son enough of a part of your brother's life?
Is he not in the wedding?
Wouldn't he want to be in the wedding? Like at 16 years old, you can put him in the wedding.
He can be I mean, I know they call them junior bridesmaids. I don't know if they call them junior groomsmen.
Junior groomsmen, it happens all the time.
That's a good point.
He maybe, I just feel like it's kind of slighting him as not only is he not in the wedding, I mean, it's the guy's nephew is not in the wedding, he's not even invited, right? It's his nephew. Yeah. That's the only reason, but if they're saying we don't want anyone under the age of 18, okay, well, that's fine.
There's definitely exceptions
no need to
when it
ruin
comes
a relationship.
to family. So of course I had ring bearers and the flower girl, which were my sister's kids, and the oldest at the time was 6 maybe. I think Avery might have been 6. They came for the ceremony and then they left for the reception so that my sisters and their husbands could have a nice
good time.
And I remember the wedding was over and my oldest sister Tara, who's like always with her kids, she's like, that was so much fun. And I'm like,
because you're without your kids.
This is what life could be. Leave them at home.
Yes.
But you know, so it's just funny. If I'm not letting my own blood not even come to the reception, then I don't want your children at my reception.
Right,
either.
like if you're a cousin or something, no, you should not be able to bring a kid.
A family friend.
Right, a family friend, don't bring
Coworker.
kids. However, it is the guy's nephew that I'm a little upset about. Like I would be upset about. Like, don't you want your nephew
I think
to see you get married?
A 16-year-old nephew can absolutely be at the wedding, absolutely be at the reception.
Yeah.
If this kid's 3, it's different.
But if your brother is saying no, then brush it off and
So you think she should still go? Or you think if he can't go,
No, she should definitely go. She should definitely go and not cause a problem. But I understand her kind of.
This is one of those things where I think like it's going to be hold a grudge, and either she's not going to go and the brother's going to be so upset that they don't talk for a little bit, or she is going to go but continue to hold this grudge that her son was not invited to his wedding.
Okay. All right. So what we
just respect what the bride and groom want.
Yeah, that's all I think you can do. Yeah. We've got an issue of our own coming up next. So we talked about 2 of yours, and is this sibling related, Jenna?
No, husband related. It's
Go figure. Stay with us. Okay, so we totally forgot to talk about persona.
You totally forgot to talk about it.
You never asked me about it.
I know, I forgot to. Okay.
Persona non grata. So
you said that before the last issue.
Yes. So, and I never knew what it meant, but it's in the office. an episode of The Office, he's talking about Sandals, Jamaica. You know, he goes on a big trip to Sandals, Jamaica with Jan, and
Michael Scott.
Yes, and he's talking about it with his boss, and he's saying, "Oh, would you like to come to Sandals, Jamaica?" And he's like, "Well, I can't bring my kids." And he goes, "Oh, yes, they are persona non grata." And I didn't know, and I've always loved that.
I don't know what it means.
I didn't know what that meant. It means person not included, not invited.
And what is it?
It's not just related to kids. It's literally, it's
But
a
is it,
Latin.
I was gonna say, what language is it?
It's a Latin.
I was gonna say, it sounds Latin.
It's a Latin thing. Persona non grata.
So that's a nice way to say, don't bring your stinking kids to my event.
So when you have a wedding invite now,
write that.
Write that.
That's fancy.
Persona non grata.
That is like black tie invitation.
Black tie recommended. Persona non grata.
And then people will be like, wow, okay, this is really fancy.
Wedding of the century. All right. You can talk about your
Time to get to my issue now.
Meisner needs an advisor.
I'm gonna need an advisor for like the next 4 weeks or so. So April in our house is insane because we have not only my birthday and my sister's birthday, it's my mother-in-law's birthday, it's my husband's birthday.
I didn't realize it was Amber's birthday.
Same day as Alexa's, my sister. So my mother-in-law and my middle sister have the same birthday. And then my sisters and I were all the same week in April. So it is just constantly birthday extravaganza.
Receiving. A lot of receiving and giving.
Yes. So Tate, my husband, his birthday's first, and it's in like less than 2 weeks at this point. So I'm trying to, rack my brain up and trying to hint around like, oh, what would you like for your birthday or whatnot. So finally, he wasn't picking up on the hint. I just flat out asked him, I said, what do you want for your birthday?
Yeah.
He's like, I could use maybe a new black belt and some athletic socks. And I was arguing with him, saying, that is not a birthday gift. I can go get you that right now. I will go to the store and get you that right now. And he wasn't understanding how, like, to him,
he needs to rack his brain for ideas.
I just loved it though. I thought it was so pure. Like, all I want is a black belt and some socks. I'm like, when you ask me what I want for my birthday, now I just feel like a brat.
But here's the issue though, is it's not just you asking for ideas. And I say this every time, for Christmas, for birthdays.
It's everyone.
Everybody is texting the wives.
I've already talked to his mom about what to get him for his birthday. So I've given all my good ideas to his mom, my mom.
Did you give her the belt? Say, get him a belt.
Well, I told her that, and then she was like, anything else? I'm like, you raised your son to only want the simple things in life.
And to be like not needy.
It's not an issue. It's actually amazing that he's this way. But his argument is, well, I don't think most guys know what they want for their birthday. Would you agree with that?
I think Eugene always, what I get irritated with Eugene is he asks me for things outside of birthday and Christmas. He just texted me this morning.
And then you're like,
his pants size and what pants he wants. I'm like, if you know what pants you want and your size,
just get them yourself.
Just get them yourself. Why are you asking me to? But he wants me to get them for him, so he doesn't feel bad about it. So I'm like, all right, fine. But there's no birthday coming up. There's no Father's Day just yet. Can you just
start
relax?
Like a running note
tab,
like in your notes app? Just every time, just write down.
I always thought gift giving though was really about coming up with your own idea. Isn't that the point of gift giving? Is like coming up with your own idea.
I'm so lazy when it comes to that. I love when, for Christmas time when people send me links,
So what I would give to his mother-in-law, if she's asking you for ideas, give the ideas that he gave to you and you come up with something on your own. Something you can also benefit off of. You've got to have a present that like you want to get him that you can benefit off of.
I'm trying to think. Well, we were kind of like talking, with...
Want a new chair? Get yourself a new chair.
With the baby coming up, we were kind of like, oh, let's just do dinner because we are, there's so much money going into the nursery and, things like that.
And not just money, but thought and buying.
I'm exhausted. I'm tired of thinking about things we need to get.
You just finished registering, and that's a really big stress. And it's so nice of everyone.
You should see him looking at the registry. He's like, oh, this is so cool. I'm like,
oh, thank
you.
Do you know the amount of work?
Do you know how much research I had to look in to make sure that this is stuff we wanted or needed?
I totally agree. I think that's an issue for another day.
It is such an issue.
I think a lot of the registry, wedding and baby, comes down to the woman.
Yeah.
It does, and it's a lot of stress to research everything to make sure like pricing and this is fair. But anyway,
so do I get him a black belt and athletic socks for his birthday?
No. I would get him something more special, something he hasn't even thought of, something that you maybe, you know, even if it's a new pair of like shoes. Like, how fun is that to all of a sudden
Monica,
get something?
he has shoes all over the house. That is absolutely not what I'm going to be getting him. His shoes are this kid has more clothes than he'll ever need, and he wears the same thing every weekend. I call it his uniform. He doesn't like to branch out, even though he's a closet full of clothes.
I will think of something, Jenna, but I think you got to come up with a fun, thoughtful gift. Give like the non-thoughtful, non-fun gifts to his mom.
I'm just curious if you're watching, write in and let us know what you think when it comes to birthday gifts.
Also, if you've got ideas for like a 20-something-year-old male who's about to become a dad.
Last year in his 20s, about to be a dad.
Please send them to Jenna because she needs ideas.
All right, we have Delco trivia. This I love. I know
you laughed so hard.
I was just infatuated with this. I know we're nowhere near October, but 9 years before the infamous Salem witch trials, a Delco woman was charged with witchcraft. Where was she from?
Spooky. Poor woman. All right, 9 years before the infamous Salem witch trials, a Delco woman was charged with witchcraft. Where was she from?
Think about it.
I said Ridley, because I pick on Ridley. Well, if there's a witch, it's going to be in Ridley.
You're not that wrong. So she was known as the Witch of Ridley Creek. Margaret Matson, she lived in Eddystone Township. So today it would be Eddystone.
Yeah.
But at the time, I mean, we're talking 1600s. She lived in a wooded area near Crum Creek. So today, again, it would be Eddystone. But the reason that they thought that she was a witch, poor Margaret, she was accused of bewitching farm animals. So they thought she was like doing something with the cauldron and the farm animals, and she was
poor Margaret
doing some sort of witchcraft. And we're talking 9 years before the Salem witch trial. So this is the one and only case to ever be tried in Pennsylvania. We're talking the entire state of PA. There was one witch trial, and it was
Delco.
This Delco woman.
Of course. And the reason Jenna finds this so funny is she relates so closely with the Witch of Ridley Creek. You are the witch of
Monica said that needs to be our new mascot.
That is
the Witch of Ridley Creek. And we can laugh because, yes, Margaret was found guilty, but apparently us here in Delco were not as severe as Massachusetts because, you know, obviously it was horrible what was happening in Massachusetts.
They killed all of those witches.
So she was guilty of having the common fame of a witch. That was the lingo, so I don't even know what that means, the common fame of a witch, but that's what she was found guilty of. And her punishment, she had to pay a fine of 50 pounds and practice good behavior, so no bewitching the farm animals, for 6 months.
Oh my goodness. So we figured that 50 pounds nowadays would be like $10,000, which is a lot of money.
It's better than death.
But it's better than death.
So Margaret Matson, the Witch of Ridley Creek.
She is now our mascot. We love you.
We welcome you with open arms.
Me and you would not have survived back then. I would have been a witch upon arrival. Upon arrival, they would have been like, shut your mouth. Stop bewitching our animals.
Delco Duo, PHL17.com. That is how you talk to us. Also, we're on social media. You can find us. Keep submitting your problems, please.
We love it. Have a good night.